Hello students, a very good morning to one and all. I hope you all are safe and healthy at your home. In the last lecture, I have started the overview of industrial sector, that is the third module, and the heading of the third module is the post-reform industrial and service sector after post reform period, right? In that, the chapter number 9 was the overview of industrial sector. So we have started with the introduction of the industrial sector. What is industrial sector? What is the importance of industrial sector? What are the involvements in the industrial sectors? What factors helps in the process of industrializations? What is the history of industrialization process? After this 1991 policy, the new economic policy 1991, there is a huge rapid growth in the industrial sector. We have seen that after this introduction, we have done the measurement of industrial product. How we measure the industrial production? Through index of industrial production, that is IIP. So we have done this content. So today we are going to start with the composition of industries in India, how this industries has been composed. So these industries is been composed of two functions or two composition, that is functional composition and ownership composition. So we are going to see what is functional and what is ownership composition, right? Then this functional composition is been divided into five parts, that is primary goods, capital goods, intermediate goods, consumer goods and infrastructure goods. Now this consumer goods is further divided into subparts, that is consumer durable and consumer non-durable goods. So we are going to see the details of this chart in the next slides. So we are going to start with the composition of industries in the India. So we are going to start with the introduction of it. At present, industrial sector provide wide range of products in all over the world, right? This industrial composition comprise of two, that is the two parts, that is the functional composition. Another one is the ownership composition. So we are going to start with the functional composition. Functional composition is also referred to as the use-based criteria. Here, in this composition, we have divided this functional composition on the basis of certain criterias. So what are the criterias? So we have divided this in the primary goods, capital goods. We have seen there primary goods, capital goods, infrastructure, capital goods, intermediate goods, consumer goods, and the last one is the infrastructure good. So we are going to see each and every one in the detail. So first we have started with the primary goods. Primary goods, these categories of goods include mining, electricity, fuel, fertilizers products, right? And the source of these goods, right? From where we are going to take these goods, or what are the sources of to produce these goods are land, water, wind, or solar based. It means again the source of these goods are natural based, because these are nothing but the natural resources, that is land, water, wind or solar based, right? So this is the basic category of the primary goods, and we have seen the sources of the goods, how we are going to produce these goods, right? Next, in this primary goods, there is an increase in the output by 1.5 percentage in January 2019, and the growth of the mining, right? Here this 1.4 is the overall. I am here, this 1.4 is not as the part of mining electricity. Here this 1.4 is the overall primary goods percentage has been increased by 1.4% in January 2019. Whereas if I'm going to tell about a single subunit, that is mining, in 2018, the mining has been increased by 1%, where in 2019, the mining, that sub area has been increased from 1 to 3.9% in January 2019. So besides this, we have to write what is the increase or decrease in the output. There may be increase, there may be decrease. So we cannot define that always there will be increase. हमेशा हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि increase ही होगा. So in this we are going to we can just assume the increase or decrease. So we have to see at what percentage this goods or this functional composition has been increased, either by 1%, 2% decrease, or we have to write that part also, which is very 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 important. Next is the, I'm so sorry, I just forgot this animation in this. Second one is the capital goods. Capital goods has been defined as a product or equipment which is used as a plant and machinery for agricultural purpose, for the commercial purpose, for the industrial purpose, or the activities, we can say, right? So here we are going to use plant machinery, right? Your land and building for the any of these activities, commercial, industrial, and agricultural activities. The subsector of the capital goods include fabricated metal product, machinery, equipments, motor, vehicle, etc. Right? Then what he's saying, with this motor car, there's the transport facilities they are going to include in the subsector. The growth of this sector was minus 3.2% in January 2019. As we can see, it's a negative. It means there is a decrease in the growth rate, but we cannot write the decrease part. So what we have done, we have just shown the negative sign over here. Now this negative sign will reflect that there is no growth. There is a, we can say, decrease in the growth which was earlier. मतलब पहले अगर 6 था तो अभी 2.8 हो गया है. Because of this there is a decrease of 3.2 in this capital goods, right? The next one is the intermediate goods. Intermediate goods, any goods or a product produced as an incomplete product or which goes as the input in the production. For example, here if I want to make, right, if I want to make a door, right, for that I need wood, for that I need a, the length of and breadth of that, right? So there are few goods which are incomplete. Incomplete means जब तक order आएगा नहीं, I cannot convert them into finished goods, right? For example, your plywood, semi-finished steel items, LPG gases, right? So there are many other items which are intermediary goods, right, which are incomplete goods. मतलब जैसा है वैसा ही है, until or unless if there is a demand for that commodity, right? So we are going to complete that product at that time. So these are the intermediary goods. We have to just write the example of it and what exactly meaning by the intermediate goods. There is no percentage or there is no growth in this, only in this goods, right? Next one, we have a consumer goods. Consumer goods include products that are directly used by the final consumers. Your different products, water bottle, you have books, you have food items, right? So which is directly consumed by the consumers, right? In this consumer goods, there are two types of consumer goods. First one is the consumer durable. In this consumer durable products directly used by the final consumers, right? Here again the same fund, the same part, the same sentence, that consumers are going to use directly and having durability of more than 2 years, right? It means we can say here your mobile phone, your vehicles, your gadget, household things, right? Which are durable for more than 2 years. Matlab your fixed assets, we can say indirectly. But we are not going to use your fixed assets. We are going to give the examples like household gadget, passenger vehicles, mobile phones, which we are using it, table, TV, which is more consumable, which have more durability. Now, in this consumer durables, the output has been raised by 1.8% in January 2019. Here, we are not going to segregate from 2018, or we are not going to compare from the 2018 or 17, right? We are just saying that it has been raised by 1.8% in January 2019. Next one is the consumer non-durable or non-durability, right? Now, in this, the products that are directly used by the consumers but they are unable to reserve for the longer time. We cannot store these kind of items or this kind of products for more than 5 to 6 or more than 1 year also. They are not preservable, they are not reserved. So the example of consumer non-durable is the food items, your bread, your vegetables, your milk. We cannot preserve them for the longer period of time, right? Your medicine, in medicine also they have a specific expiry date. Why expiry date? Because after that, if we are going to consume that medicine, we will be affected by the side effect. There can be any side effect of these medicines, which is again harmful for us. Your tea, so these items are known as fast moving consumer goods because they are not for a longer period of time. We have to consume this product as soon as possible. In this durable, there is an example of cake which we love more, right? So you can just write the cake also in this as an example. So these are the fast moving consumer goods, that is FMCG. Now the growth of this subsector was 3.8%. So sorry. So sorry. So the growth of this subsection, a subsector, was by 3.8% in January 2019. So clear with this consumer goods, it's been divided into two parts, that is consumer durability or consumer durable and consumer non-durable, right? Next, we will moving towards the infrastructure. This is the last points of the functional composition of industrial sector. Now this infrastructure or the construction goods, these are the goods that cannot be categorized. We cannot categorize these types of goods either in the consumer durable or intermediary goods. We cannot segregate this in a like a consumer durable goods or a intermediary goods. They are complete by themselves, right? If we are going to use it, that is also complete, but if we are going to use it for some other part, that is also a complete product for that, right? So they are complete by themselves but cannot be directly consumed. We cannot directly consume it, but they are complete by themselves. So here the examples are the cement. Cement is a complete product, but when we need cement to build a house, to build something, right? We need paint for the house. Paint is not necessary, but it's a complete part of it. It's a complete product. When we need to paint or we renew our house, then we need a paint. Bricks, electric cables, these are the example of infrastructure or the construction goods. Clear with the functional composition of industrial sector? So we are moving ahead with the ownership composition. Now this is the second composition of industrial sector, that is the ownership composition. This classification is being done on the basis of public and private ownership of industry. Here in the above category, we have just segregated the goods on the basis of durable, primary, capital, infrastructure, intermediaries. But in the ownership, here we are going to deal with the ownership. What will be the ownership of the industry? Whether it's a private or a public ownership, the first thing, right? So we are going to divide on this basis, that is private and the public. So sorry. As on 31st March 2018, there were 339 central public sector enterprises, out of 257 was in a operation, that is 257 was in a working condition. They are functioning at a very proper manner. Next, there are also state level public sector enterprises, right? Not at the central level. There are few public sector which are at the state level, which are going to help the public enterprises, and majorities of the industry unit belongs to the private ownership for the proper functioning of the industrial sector. I hope you are clear with the whole composition of industrial sector. So I'm moving ahead with the this table, right? I'm moving ahead with the table which I have been explained in the last slide. That is, these are the composition, these are the functional composition. And as per the IIP is the measurement of industrial production, that is index of industrial production. So as per their data of 2012 and 13, and they have taken the informations from the Central Statistical Office. These office actually generate this information, how they are going to measure the industrial production. So primary goods, and the amount is in percentage. This industrial groups, these are nothing but the functional composition. The primary good percentage is 34.05 as per the 2012 and 13 year, right? On that basis we are going to see primary goods is 34.05 percentage, capital goods is 8.22 percentage, intermediary goods is 17.22 percentage, their contribution towards the industrial sector. Consumer durability is 12.84 percentage, consumer non-durable goods, that are 15.33 percentage, and the last one is the infrastructure or the construction good, that is 12.34 percentage. You don't have to learn this table, but you have to just make sure that these are the contribution to the industrial sector. So moving ahead with the next content, that is the industrial growth since 1991. From 1991, that is post-reform period, till the date we can say, or till the last academic year from where we can get a proper information, that is 1819. So we are going to see how this industrial sector been from 1991 till 2018 or 19, what are the fluctuation in that, whether they have increased or decreased. So we are going to see that part. As in 1991, there are several policy changes to design the industrial sector. After this new economic policy 1991, there was the liberalization in the industrial sector. Now everyone can open their business, they can be entrepreneur, right? So from 1991, there have been many changes in the policies for the more development of industrial sector. The new industrial policy was announced on July 1991 as economic reforms, which measures are the measures of this new economic policy, a new industrial policy was, first one is to reduce the scope of industrial licensings. We have to reduce the license part, because sometimes to with the lots of formalities in the licensings, and to renew that will again a long procedure, so the people won't be entering in the industrial part. So we have to reduce the scope of industrial license. Next measures are simplification of the procedural rules and regulations. What they have to simplify the procedures, they have to simplify the rules, they have to simplify the regulations in the industrial sector, said that, so that people can understand what is the exactly industrial sector is, and what are the procedures we can start a business, or what are the terms and condition to start the business, right? So this has to be specification, simplifications or specifications. Specification can be there, so we can understand what are the exactly rules, or what are the exactly method to understand or to start a business. Next one, reduction of areas reserved exclusively for the public sector. In this industrial sector, there is only three industries in the public sector. We have reduces from 26 to 18, 18 to 16, 16 to 6, 6 to 3. Now we have just three public sector in the industrial, or we can say three public industries in that sector, right? Why we have done this reservation part, why we have reduced this reservation part? First, the reason was that there was not that much profitability as compared to the public sector, राइट बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रॉबैक था, बहुत ज़्यादा रिडक्शंस थे, बहुत ज़्यादा व्हाट आई कैन से देयर वाज नॉट प्रॉफिट अर्निंग इंडस्ट्रीज इन दैट टाइम. सो व्हाट दे हैव डिड, they have just exactly did they have just convert public into the private, and the private are the one of the main sector which are earning more and more profit with accountability. Next one is the disinvestment of equity of selected public sector undertaking. So this disinvestment, I'm going to explain what the meaning of disinvestment, right, in the next chapter. So we have to disinvestment of the equity shares of the public sector while undertaking, right? And the next main measure was that to increase the limit of the foreign equity participation in the domestic industry. Now if the foreign people want to purchase the equity shares, or the they want to invest in the industrial sector, in the domestic industrial sector, so the limit has been increased so that they can get fund very easily for the smooth functioning of the industries. And the last one, but not the least, liberalization of trade and exchange rate policy. Now they are going to give the freedom or some liberty in terms of trade and the exchange rate policies, so that they can do trade very easily without any, we can say, without any hurdles or without any obstacles, and the exchange rate can be easily convertible. so that we can do proper international trade. Next one. So these are the growth of industrial sector. So we are going to start with the point one, that is the eighth 5-year plan. The period was 1992 till 1997. So the overall growth rate for this 5-year plan, this sorry, 8 5-year plan was 8.1 percentage. So this is the overall growth in this 5-year plan. So this is the, as per the year, what is the percentage of production in the industrial sector contribution to them. In 1990 to 91, the percentage was 8.2 percentage toward the contribution of industrial sector. In 1992 to 93, the percentage has been decreased from 8.2 to 4.2. In 1993 to 94, again there is an increase in the industrial sector, right? From 4.2 to 6.8. And in 1995 to 96, now this percentage has been increased double. Matlab from 6.8 till it's 13. So they have just increased the double amount from it. Okay, so this is the 1 5-year plan after the new economic policy 1991. So यहाँ पे आपको क्या लिखना है? First of all, what is the overall growth rate of this 5-year plan? And individually, we have to see at which academic year there was a growth, there was an increase and decrease in the industrial sector. As you see, 1990 to 91, so the increase is 8.2, right? But as you see the next academic year, the industrial growth rate, the index or the measurement of industrial production has been decreased 50%, we can say. That is 8.2 to 4.2. Now again there is an increase in the next academic year 1993 to 94, and the huge improvement or the huge increase in the 1995 to 96. So overall there is a growth rate of 8.1 in this 5-year plan. Next, we will be moving towards the ninth 5-year plan. The year for ninth 5-year plan was 1998 to 2002. In this 5-year plan, the performance was not better. The performance was little poor. We can say there was not that much growth what we are expecting from the 8th 5-year plan. But the things went very wrongly in here. There was so sorry so sorry in this, the performance was very good because the performance of mining and electricity generation has given a huge better performance, so that the industrial output has been increased by 5.5 percentage as an overall percentage of the economy, right? So in this 5-year plan, the year as from 1998 to 2002, that is 1997 to 98, the growth rate was, the contribution toward the industrial sector was 6.6. In 1998 to 1999, again it has been decreased from 6.6 to 4.1. And in 2001 and 2, it has been decreased from 4.1 to 2.7. So there is a decline in the year 2001 to 2, that is 2.7, right? Again the half percent has been decreased. This is only because of, due to the normal business cycle. You have learned business cycle in the SYBCom, that is depression, regression, prosperity, that part. So there's a normal business cycle. There was a lower domestic and the external demand, and there is an infrastructure constraints, right? So these were the reason why there's a decrease in the 2001 and 2, that is 2.7% only. Next one is the 10th 5-year plan. So the year will start from 2002 to 2007. So these are the 5-year plan. That is the 10th 5-year plan. So the target rate of growth they have expected is 10% per annum, but the average planned period was 8.2% per annum. Here we can say we have targeted 10%, but we have achieved 8.2% per annum on an average basis. Here, the majority contribution are given by the manufacturing sector by 91.1 percentage to the industrial growth. The major contribution was done by the manufacturing sectors. Due to this manufacturing sector, there was a huge improvement in the industrial sector. There is a huge growth in the industrial sector. So the year for this 10th year 5-year plan was 2004 and 5. The IIP, that is the index of industrial production weight, was 8.4. In 2005 and 6, it has been decreased by 0.2 from 8.4 to 8.2. But in 2006 and 7, there is an increase in the contribution, right, in the industrial sector. That is from 8.2, it increases to 11.6. Again, a huge increase in the industrial sector. Next one is the 11th 5-year plan. In 11th 5-year plan, the year was 2007 till 2012. In this, again they have targeted, again they have assumed that we are going to achieve 10% per annum in this 5-year plan, or we have targeted that there has to be an increase in the industrial sector by 10% per annum. But again, what we expect, that nothing, that doesn't mean what we expect, that won't be the result. Here, the average growth rate is 6.9. Again, not exactly the 70% of it, right? So here again, there is again a huge difference what we have targeted and what we have achieved in this 11th 5-year plan. Now, in this 11th 5-year plan, there is a slowdown in the industrial production. Why there is a slowdown in the industrial production? Due to the rise in the crude oil, because crude oil का price बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया था. There was an increase in the raw material price globally. Globally means internationally. The price of the raw material has been increased, and there was a global financial crisis. Financial crisis मतलब we can say at international level, peoples were not sufficient with the funds, and there was a high interest rate at the loans, and we have the low domestic demand. So due to this, there was a decrease in the industry. There is a decrease in the growth of the industrial sector. So again, we are going to see the years, and again we are going to see the years and the contribution to the industrial sector. In 2007 and 8, the IIP weight, that is the contribution to the industrial sector, was 15.5, right? This 15.5 was again a huge improvement in that. But as you see in the next academic year, that is in 2008 and 9, due to this reason, from 15.5, they have reduced this to 2.5. Again, there is a huge loss, or we can say there was very low contribution to the industrial sectors. The productivity was very, very low as compared to 2007 and 8. Now, in the next year, that is in 2009 and 10, we have increased little bit in the production of the industrial sector. We have increased 2.5 till 5.3. In the next year, that is 2010 and 11, again we have done the improvement in the industrial sector. We have improved the productivity of the We have improved the productivity of the industrial sector, that is from 5.3 till 8.2, right? And the last academic year of this 5-year plan was 2011 and 12, right? Again there is a reduce in the IIP, that is the index of industrial production. Again from 8.2 it comes to 9.2. It is 2, not the S. It's by mistakenly why it is not S, it is 2. I'm so sorry for this, right? So we have seen this 11th 5-year plan, which is from 2007 to 12. So this is the main reason why there is a decrease in the average growth rate overall. But in the starting year of this 5-year plan, the IIP was very high, or we can say it is very much good proportionate to the industrial sector. But as we see from 2008, there is a decrease, again an increase, again an increase, but again a decrease in the 2011 and 12, that is 2.92, right? So in this industrial growth, the last one 2012 and 13, right? 2012 and 13, this was the industrial growth. In this industrial growth, according to the new data release with 2011 and 12 as the base year, the sector grew by only 2.4% in 2012 and 13. As you see in the table, they have just increased by 2.4 percentage, right? So they have increasing by very low rate. Then again, the reason for the poor performance was the contraction in the mining activities. There is a contraction means due to the other factors, the mining activity has been slowed down. There is a slowdown in the manufacturing activities as well with the mining activities, and there is a decline in the private corporate investment. Again, there is a decline in the private corporate investment. As we see in 2014 and 15, there was the growth rate by 28%. Whereas as you see during 2015 and 16, the growth rate was 7.4. But again in the next year, that is 2016 and 17, it has been decreased to 5.2. Again a loss in the last 5-year plans. As you have seen, there is a in the last 10th and 11th 5-year plan, as you see, the last year or the last 2 years are the years where there is a decrease in the IIP, that is index of industrial production. Again, there is a decrease in the productivity. So what we have to do, we have to just make sure that we are going to increase this percentage by, so that our industrial sector will perform very nicely as an overall develop in the economy. So today we have learned that what are the composition of industry in India, and what are the industrial growth from 1991 till 2013 and 17. There is one more point over here. I think I forgot to write that. That is 2017-18. So I will be adding that, and I will be continuing that part in the next lecture. I hope you are clear with the today's content, what we have done, because next content is little bit lengthy, so I won't be able to cover and wind up that content. So I will be doing that content in the next lecture, so that my both the content will be done in the same lecture, right? So if you have any doubts, if you have any issues relating to the content that it is a part of or not, you can just check out your syllabus, and these all contents are there in that syllabus, right? uh, I hope you are clear with the content. If you have any doubt, just mention in the comment section so that I can do it again for you. So stay safe, stay healthy at your home, students. God bless you.